Hi everyone, Red Omai here, and I did promise you guys some pretty cool videos, and hopefully this is going to be one of them. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to access a fully active beehive. As you can see from behind me here, they're not too happy to see me already, but a lot of you didn't know I'm a beekeeper as well as many other things. So we're going to see what it's like inside of a beehive today. So in a minute I'm going to get on my dork suit, and I got my smoker pre-lit already. As you can tell, they're active as crazy. We're going to feed them today, we're going to do an inspection, and we're going to add a honey super so they can start getting busy. Pretty warm out today, so right now they're active, and this is the first day. Well, actually it's the first week since I've opened them last week. It's getting to be April 20th right now, so I should have opened them probably about a week ago. So right now they're pretty hungry and they're pretty angry from their winter sleep, being woke up with no food in their hives. So what we're going to do today is we're going to feed them, and we're going to show you how all that's done. Hopefully we can do a lot more videos like this and some other things. So we'll get started. Just give me a couple minutes to get on my dork suit, and yes, you'll be able to make fun of me in the comments. So go right ahead, feel free. Anyhow, I'm going to get started and I'll explain what I'm doing as we go along. Try to keep up and don't get stunned. Alright, they are not going to be happy to see me whatsoever. They are pretty active today, and I hope this audio is good enough to where you can see. But, as all beekeepers wear a bee suit, well, not all of them. Some of them like being stung, and some of them just don't care. Personally, I'd rather not get stung. The reason for the nitrile latex gloves are exam gloves, and the reason for that is instead of wearing the big bulky beekeeping gloves you pull all the way up your arm, I like to wear these so I can change them out from hive to hive. That way, if there's any sickness or anything like that in a hive, I don't contaminate another hive until I can treat the hive for whatever illness it may have. Knock on wood, in all the years that I've been doing this so far, I've not had any signs of diseases or sickness in my hives. If you're more interested about that, feel free to comment, and I'll be glad to answer your questions, if I can. So, what we have here is a hive tool, a bee brush, a frame rack, which we're going to need, and we're going to hang it on the side here so we can pull each frame out, hang it up, move on to the next, and inspect them. So forgive me for walking off frame here for a second. I want to make sure this is still recording. I'll be right back with you. It looks as though it is. I know the battery's about to die, so we're going to try and make this as quick as possible without really pissing off the bees too bad. And here's one on my smoker. If you can see her, she's not too happy. She wants to know what's going on. Alright. So behind me, I have a honey super. I also have an extra brood chamber, which are these two taller boxes. I don't know if you can see the honey super yet because it's not in frame, but it's a little thinner. It's also called a medium super. And I'll explain all that later on in the comments if you like. But these two chambers is where the queen lays her eggs in all the frames. So the queen, she can lay anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000 eggs in one day's time. Yeah, she gets quite busy. So the queen really loves her eggs and her children. That's why some of these hives, I don't know if any of you have ever seen the inside and the workings of a hive, they can just rather explode with bees before they get mad because there's no more room, and then they swarm away, and that's what you do not want to happen. So I'm going to adjust this camera up a little bit so that you can see me as I speak. Here we go. Okay. So without further ado, let's get started. I know some of you might ask, what does the smoke do? A lot of people think that it calms them down, which it really does not. It does not calm them down, it chases them away. And the reason for that is when I take this inner cover off of here, they're going to come pouring up to the surface to see what's going on. Sometimes they might beard down the side, which means there's going to be hundreds and if not thousands of them all over the side of the box. So I'll explain why we do the things we do as I'm doing it. I do want to spray a little bit of smoke inside, and if you hear that crack, that is because they actually glue everything together. Sometimes it's quite tough to get things apart because they make a glue called propolis, and it's a bee glue. So that'll chase them down inside the boxes where they belong, not up out here trying to kill me for being in their home. Now this is an inner cover. That worked really well. A lot of them went back down inside. There's a little space here that when I put on that telescoping cover that you just seen, they're able to escape out the top, even though the main access point is on the bottom. But if for some reason we get bad weather like snow and the bottom gets covered, they're able to escape. Hence why I had a twig laying across so that it left enough airflow for them. That way they could escape. You know, there's nothing we can do about these ones, so we're going to knock them back off inside. Set that over here. Now, you're going to see what it's like to see full frames of bees. The first one or two probably won't, and if we can get a gander at the queen, I will show her to you. There's not many here on this food frame because they've actually eaten most of it. So they're going to need fed. They're probably starving. So we're going to hang that there and a few others like it. Show you what we're looking for here. Right now I'm looking for any signs of the queen laying eggs and the workers capping it off. The yellow pattern you see inside these honeycomb here, that's food. It's actually a type of, well, we call it bee bread. It's like a pollen mixture with nectar, and it forms like a, kind of like a dough, and they actually eat that and feed that to the young as well. It actually looks pretty good. Same thing. I don't know. Well, let me find a better frame here. I'll bring it up nice and close so you can see exactly what they're doing inside. And as you see, they're going after my hands. Any fast movement, they don't like it. So if you encounter a colony stuck in a tree and they have a cluster formed, don't run and move fast. Just walk away nice and slow. And they should leave you alone. Alright, this one isn't too bad. What's going on here is they're storing honey. Okay, All the moisture you see inside those honeycombs, that's nectar, getting mixed with its pollen and its enzymes and everything to make honey. And when it's evaporated enough, they're going to cap it off. So if I show you, if I find a frame with some capped honey in it, I'll show you exactly what that is. Alright, we'll get you a good look here. Can't tell if that's in focus or not. Bees, bees. I should have warned everybody, if they're not too scared of bees, that they'll be alright, but if they're afraid of bees, this is probably not the video you want to be watching right now, because it might be enough to make your skin crawl. Alright. We're getting a little antsy and anxious here. Lots of food they're storing for the winter here. Well, they store it all year long actually, but during the winter months they don't do much. They stay inside the hive for the most part and just cluster into a ball. Last week when I took the insulation wraps off of these hives, I did not have my camera with me, so I couldn't record anything. So, I took the liberty of rotating these boxes, and I put the top on the bottom and the bottom on the top. So what we're going to have to do is put all these ladies back, take the bottom apart, separate the two, just so we can check and make sure the queen is there. Because she's not doing much up in this top box. But it's early yet, so I don't mind doing this right now. For the most part, I just like to check and make sure she's there. If she is, no worries, as long as she has a good laying pattern. And we'll show you that as well if we can. We have a lot more bees down here than we do up top, which is actually a good sign because normally the majority of the colony goes where the queen is. So I think we're going to have a good chance of finding her down here, which is what I wanted because they normally work from the bottom up. Except my bees, I don't know what they've been eating, but sometimes they work backwards. Some of them already have pollen on their little legs from pollinating flowers. Where they're getting that, I don't know, because it's early yet. We don't have too many dandelions and things like that growing. But wherever they're getting it, I'm actually glad they're getting it. Okay, now we do have some capped brood here. And we do have eggs being laid, so I know the queen is in here. Let me just show you what's going on here. Okay, they're all over this right now. It's kind of a mess, so I'm not sure you can see this. But anywho, let's try and chase some away. There we go. Now, to the average layman, they would think that's honey, but that's actually capped brood. Brood is the larva and everything that's going to grow into the European honeybee when it's time for them to come out. Normally 30-40 days, they'll already pupate into a larva, and then they're going to chew their way out of those capsules. And then the day they chew out, they get right to work and do everything else the other bees are doing until the day they die. It seems like a thankless life, doesn't it? Kind of like what most of us do for a living. We work until the day we die, just about. So, what I wanted to show you, if I can spot them again. Now, it's hard to see with bees covering it so much. Okay, well, I'm going to get a better frame because I did see an area where the bees were making eggs, or the queen was laying eggs, but I lost it, so okay. Alright, I'm going to smoke my hands just because they're really crashing into them. You don't want them putting off an alarm pheromone. That's another thing the smoke does. When they start to get aggressive, they put off an alarm pheromone that alerts the others in the hive that there's an intruder. So what the smoke does is it dissipates the alarm pheromone. That way you don't have a whole colony trying to swarm you.